What's up, everybody? This is Scratch, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Ghost Recon Wildlands. As you know, I've had, or as you may not know, I had a chance to fly out to Ubisoft to check this game out and get a little bit of hands-on time with it, and I've been combing through the footage and just kind of looking at what I captured while I was there and kind of thinking about like what has made me excited about this game. And I'm going to share that with you in this video. So we're going to talk about the map, the freedom that you have, customization, games that I kind of think it compares to in terms of ideas, although the games are much older and probably ahead of their time. This game kind of does that stuff perfectly. So we're going to talk about all of those different aspects, and in no particular order, not necessarily like a top 5 or a top 10, just a handful of things that have me excited or have me thinking about this. So I'll start with the open world and the map. The map is huge. It has 21 regions that are full of landmarks, villages, swamps, jungles, caves, salt flats, you name it. All sorts of different biomes in areas that all of this world takes place in that you'll be able to explore and just kind of take in, really. It's almost like visiting Bolivia. That's where it's set. The AI are very smart, and it's a very living world, and it kind of reacts to the choices that you make and the gameplay and the style that you do. Basically, what's happened here, the reason that the ghosts are in Bolivia, is that the Santa Blanca drug cartel has taken over Bolivia and turned it into basically like its personal drug state. They've paid off the state-run police force, which is known as the Unidad. And so basically you are fighting the state-run police of the country you're trying to give back to the people. So there's a little bit of corruption involved there. And then fighting alongside of you, of course, are civilians who are caught in the middle, and then these rebellion group, I think it's like Qatari's 26, who are fighting with you to try to stop the oppression that the Santa Blanca cartel has put on their country, and basically to kind of get it back. The cartel pretty much split the country up and split its operations up into production, trafficking, influence, and security, and then each of those things have like bosses that sort of run them, and they all have their own personal story that we'll find out about. And then these operations and different things that support these operations are spread throughout the entire country, and we'll get into gameplay, and that's basically what you're trying to do is to disrupt these operations. So, for example, in support of trafficking and stuff, there are missions to stop convoys, influence and security. There's security forces that are being trained. So maybe you go on a mission where you have to eliminate like some foreign fighters who are brought in to train the people who you're fighting against. So like you'll take on these little training camps, which is kind of interesting. But the coolest thing about all of that is that you'll have solo or co-op. Gameplay is seamless throughout the entire campaign. So you can play for like, say, 5 or 10 minutes solo, and then hop in with a couple of friends for a little bit, go back and play solo for a little bit, and then team up with 4-player to take on like maybe this area that you're having a little bit of trouble with, solo or whatever. And you keep all of your progression and all of everything that you're working on and everything that you're doing as you hop in and out of solo and co-op gameplay. So to the first comparison, I think it kind of lends itself to a Borderlands style of gameplay where you can help each other while helping yourself, and there's no you're not going to run into these barriers where you're like, oh, I can't play because I'm not that far or whatever. Like, you can just join each other and you can go do whatever it is you both want to do without having to worry about progression walls, essentially. Speaking of such, everything is accessible from the start of the game. So, like, if you can see it, you can go there and you can do any of these missions that I was talking about, like taking down convoys, interrogate people, capture people. There's rescue missions, and then, of course, the interrupting of, all of these various operations. But you have the complete freedom to totally do that. You can come in with 4 players. You can separate and split, take on different things, collect different intel, and do all of that stuff. And basically, that's kind of what we're getting into with, it's kind of like Mercenaries, if you remember Mercenaries, where you had to go along and, like, collect different intel and collect different things to find out, like, what you need to do next. and you take down, you can just kind of run all around. I think it was set in Korea, North Korea maybe. And you would capture the leaders, and they were all carded like in a deck of cards or whatever. This isn't exactly like that, but it's reminiscent of just being able to kind of like pick and choose what you want to do, and then they've basically taken that freedom and just amplified it completely. It's full of vehicles that are you're able to do this, so because of that, you don't really necessarily have to take on each mission the same. You could play through the game several times and you would experience it completely differently. So sharing strategies with friends is a pretty exciting prospect because they may or may not have things unlocked on their character, which we'll get into customization in a second. But you can kind of collaborate with your friends to decide whether or not you're going to be stealthy or whether or not you want to just grab certain vehicles and try an air assault, maybe with maybe with just all helicopters or something, or maybe you want to do a ground assault, maybe you want to go in at night, maybe you want to go in the daytime. Everything you do is going to be different, or potentially different. So sharing strategies and stuff like that, I think is pretty, to me at least, is pretty appealing. I'm thinking about the time that we had when we were playing, just all of the different options. Like, we played through a couple of missions with a few people that were there, and none of us really knew each other. I mean, we know each other a little bit, but not like we don't play a lot together. And so all of us coming together for a common goal was kind of an interesting dynamic, but we actually did really, really well. And to hear everybody else's input on like what we should do or how we should tackle something, it seemed to work out really well. The game lends itself to that creativity, and it honestly had me thinking on the plane ride home, how many different things are there that we could do? Oh, we should have done this, at this part. Or what if we would have all taken a truck with with the gun mounted on the back or something, and just to try to basically perfect the operations in a way in my head that just keeps playing over and over again. So that's definitely cool. The vehicles are amazing. You can get helicopters, cars, armored vehicles. There's like a tractor, bulldozers or excavators, and just if you can see it, you can steal it and you can drive it. And that's really awesome because, like I said, it just brings on this whole new level of thought process of how to approach the game, which honestly, it's been a week or two, and I have not been able to stop thinking about that. And I've been watching other people's gameplay. I'm to kind of see what they do and pick up tips. So the customization, on the other hand, adds a whole new dynamic to it because you can play males, female, you got tattoos, gear. They're all customizable completely, and you can make your character really, really unique. And it's reminiscent of, like, for example, like, I don't know if you've maybe played the Conflict Desert Storm. It was a game, I think it came out in like 2003. It was by Square Enix. And that was a game where you had 4 people, and each one had like a support role or an engineer, or assault or sniper. And basically you would utilize the different features of each of those characters to tackle something. It was very, very linear, obviously, because it came out on PlayStation 2, and that was so long ago in game design. But some of that is reminiscent here, where you have those same things like assault, engineer, sniper, support, and each of them has different gear, and you can upgrade them. Like one person might have a drone really highly upgraded, or different aspects in their drone isn't highly as upgraded, so you're going to play differently as you play through them. So the customization really, really intertwines itself into the gameplay and then the story with how you play. So how you play this is completely up to you, and that's probably the thing I'll close out with, because that is what has stuck with me the most and what I think about the most when I look at this game. Really, really excited to play it. The beta is going to run from February 3rd to February 6th, so that'll be out pretty soon, if it's not out already, or maybe it's already passed by the time you're watching this. The game comes out on March the 7th, so if it's past that, you're going to want to jump on to whatever store or whatever platform you play on, and definitely check this out. I've got some more videos on the channel. Also, look out for the War Within the Cartel, which is a live-action film that's coming out on February the 16th of 2017, or like I said, you shouldn't date things on and videos on the internet, but it's not out yet. But when it does come out, or if it's out, you might want to check that out. It's going to be a live action film that's going to sort of kind of carve out the story of the cartel itself, and kind of what I talked about, how they've basically taken over Bolivia and paid off everybody, and just kind of inserted themselves into this country. And it's going to talk a little bit about that. I was never really a big fan of that. I didn't really care so much about live action films. You know, I watched the one for Halo, and I thought it was good, but, you know, and it was interesting or whatever, but I was never really a fan of that. But having played Quantum Break and how they did that with live action actually integrated into the game, I'm actually kind of excited to check out this War Within the Cartel, because it does, watching these things does kind of enhance the gameplay, because you have a little bit better understanding about what's going on, or you might pick up these subtle little things. So I'm excited to check that out as well. So thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned to the channel for more information on Ghost Recon Wildlands. We'll be playing it when the beta hits, and I will see you guys in the battlefield. Thanks for watching.